Hello and welcome. Today's guest comes to us from Ocean Grove, New Jersey. She's Meryl Hayton. She's an accredited, certified EFT practitioner and law of attraction guide, helping you heal from your past, let go of fear, doubt, and what's keeping you currently stuck so you have more loving and supporting relationships and fulfilling career and vibrant health in your life. It gives me a great pleasure to have Meryl join us. Welcome, Meryl.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you, Meryl. So please share with us your story, who you are, how you discovered the world of tapping, and how it changed your life.
I'd be happy to. So from a very, very young age, I just always had an incredible amount of negativity and judgment swirling in my head. And it created in my life fear, worry, doubt, a little bit of anxiety, right? Stressing, lots of overthinking, overanalyzing. And, although I had a nice life and my first career was owning and operating a small nail studio, and and I had a successful career and things like that, I still suffered from all of that. Inside my body, in my energy, and I suppressed a lot of my feelings. I didn't really know how to express myself. So when I did, it kind of came out as the anger, frustration. I would kind of blow up easily, and I was like hypersensitive, and I knew that all of this wasn't right, but I didn't know how to make it right, so to speak, or I don't like to use the word fix myself, but that's what I was feeling. Like, I want to fix this. I want, right. So I was just always on this self-development journey of how do I find more ease? How do I find more confidence? How do I find more happiness and hopefulness? And, I went to traditional therapy. I read books. I took workshops. I was just always on this quest. I tried to surround my people that were more evolved than me, that were more spiritual than me, that, were like guides for me in my life. And, I finally, I became a yoga teacher. That was one of the first things that I did. And then when I did my advanced level yoga teacher training, I started to realize I wanted to close my salon and move on to being a coach. So what did that mean? How was I really going to help people? What was my modality going to be? And I started researching because I was always into holistic health and alternative health and energy healing. And so I just started to research, and I came up with a mind-body medicine practitioner, and I started researching that. And I found my first coach and mentor, Dr. Kim Duramo. She did a lot of tapping. And that was how I was introduced to EFT tapping. That was in 2017. And then a year later, I closed my salon and, focused full time on healing myself and really practicing using EFT and teaching in-person workshops, EFT tapping and meditation workshops, EFT tapping, meditation and yoga workshops and things, all about helping people to feel enough, because that's what I was searching within. So everything that I've done for myself and the way that I've healed for myself and what EFT has done for me, and law of attraction, like really marrying those worlds together. I feel the healing piece is needed. And then you also need the piece that keeps anchoring you in to the forward momentum and who you want to be and what you want to have in your life. And so that's what I've created, this emotional clearing method, unique signature process that I have in my coaching business. So what it's done for me is it's increased my confidence in other areas where I wasn't feeling confident, which is like personal, intimate relationships. I express myself with vulnerability and authenticity more than I ever did before. I stand up for myself and for other people, and really speak my mind with more confidence than I ever did before. I really trust myself. I trust more in the universe and that I'm being guided. I know that when I'm feeling a certain way physically in my body, it means I'm emotionally maybe feeling anxiety or fear. So I'm really connected to my mind and my body is really connected. I'm way more spiritual than I ever was. And it's giving me the courage to keep building my business. I mean, now my business is amazing. It's steady, and building, and I'm excited for what's to happen and who I get to work with. And it gave me the courage to make a big move and move to the beach where I live now. And I mean, years ago when I first started this, I had an accident where I fell and broke my wrist. So I had to actually stop doing nails. Right. This was right after I closed my salon. I was still doing nails in my living room, and I fell and I broke my wrist, and I had no income, and I didn't sell my salon. So I ended up being eligible when I was applying for like medical insurance. It turned out I was eligible for food stamps. So I was literally on food stamps, and now I have paid off my debt, and I continue to keep investing in myself with my own coaches and mentors. And I'm scheduled to take 2 big vacations this year, and my business is steady. I have consistent income coming in. So, it's been an amazing journey. And, as I said, I feel blessed to be able to offer this to other people, that there's instead of feeling doubtful, I help people feel hopeful, right? Instead of feeling lack in their life, like lack of support or lack of love or lack of money, I help them to feel more abundant in those areas. Whether you really have it or not, that's all the law of attraction piece, right?
Right. I think it's incredible how you turn your life around, and it's amazing what EFT has done for you. It opened up so many doors, and you discovered a new calling, from nail salon, doing this kind of work. I think more rewarding. You feel more enlightened and alive by doing that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I felt like, my salon was absolutely a calling from a little kid. I was always playing with my nails, and it definitely was a calling, but that was beauty on the outside. And I was always looking for beauty on the inside. And I would talk about this with my clients, and I would easily develop relationships. And most of my clientele was with me for almost the 30 years I had my salon.
Oh, wow.
And people followed me, like I moved like a long distance and stuff. And so now it's really all about helping people develop a kinder, more loving, accepting relationship with themselves on the inside, because then you get that then you allow that in, then you get that from the outside, right? So that's why when you read my little bio, it said they do receive, they do get more loving, supportive relationships, vibrant health, and more fulfilling careers, because they stop second guessing themselves, and they really stand in their power, and they go for what they want boldly in their lives, without guilt.
Yeah, I think that's very important, because oftentimes we become our own executioner and doubter, and we'd rather trust others.
Right.
We listen to others, and we don't listen to our own inner voice. So very good point. What do you want to be remembered by?
The first thought that I had was, I want to be remembered by how supported people felt in my presence. That's one of the things.
Yeah.
That when I've worked with my clients, or even in my personal relationships, that people felt like inspired, I guess, and supported by my energy,
Yeah. I think it's important to feel present, and to feel that support, because oftentimes we don't have it, and important to get it from a coach, or when you work in that relationship. What is the most important trait to instill in a child, and what do you wish you had when you were little?
The first word that came to me was confidence. And I think autonomy is really important, because I was led, my parents did the best that they could, but I was led to what they thought was the best for me, and not trying to find what really was my strengths.
Mhm.
Right. It was like, well, maybe you should do this and you should do that and you should try this and you should try. Right. And I get that's kind of, how people, try to help me kind of figure out, what I liked. But, you know,
Do you
I
wish
think,
like they asked you more what you wanted?
yeah, I really feel like, um, I wish that I wish there was better communication between, my parents and I, um, and that I was supported more to really find out my strengths and my, what I loved, and to create, just more of a sense of independence. And well, I was very independent, but
Mhm.
it's just that autonomy. It's that that's like separateness, that you feel um confident. It's the same word that I keep coming back to, but
Like standing on your own feet and
yeah, just really knowing your power.
trusting yourself, doing
Mhm.
what you think is right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Can you share with us 3 tips on how to heal your inner critic?
Well, most people that I work with, I'll say like pretty much almost all of the inner critic stuff that we get triggered by, the underlying feeling is unworthiness. And so I would invite you that, to pause. Taking a pause is really important when you get triggered, and excusing yourself from whatever the situation is, and really sitting with yourself and maybe journaling out what you're feeling. And, so the first step would be pausing, right? The second step would be like journaling out all of your feelings. And then the third step would be, what does this remind you of, like from your past? Is there something from your past that this is maybe connected to, or is this a familiar pattern for you? Or, right, like everything in our lives that is triggering us is there for a reason, to help us see where we need more healing and where we need to learn lessons. So that's what I would say, right? And then once you find where it might be connected to from your past, then seek out some help and go get some healing.
Totally, totally. I think those are important points. First, accepting, realizing that it's there, and
Mhm.
pausing, because oftentimes we rush through life. We don't pause. We're
Yeah,
always
absolutely.
getting somewhere.
Right. And even noticing if you are resistant to the pause, that could be your lesson right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, totally, totally. Who is your hero? Do you have a hero?
I would say my father.
What are some of the qualities that you admire about him?
My father was a very driven man, and I have that same drive.
Mhm.
He was an entrepreneur, and so am I. So, he had took some courageous moves, bold moves in his life. And when my father was 13, he he had a football accident. He was playing football and he had an accident and he broke his arm. and the doctor said it incorrectly, and he got gangrene, and they had to amputate his arm like up to the shoulder.
Oh, wow.
And he never wore a prosthetic. He said the doctors gave it to him, but he never wore a prosthetic, and that was his dominant arm, and he needed to learn how to use his left arm and write with his left arm and everything. And he was, so he didn't let like a hardship get in his way. Right. So even if we don't have a physical hardship, we can use our mental warfare or our inner critic as our hardship. Right. It's the same kind of thing.
Yes.
So, yeah, and it's interesting because my father was also my father died when I was 17. So I unfortunately didn't get to have there was a whole life that happened before me because my brother and sister are much older than me. Mm-hmm. So, and I just was talking to my sister about this the other day. She reminded me that my dad, I remembered that he would go into our basement with the lights off and would meditate. But I didn't know what kind. And she told me the other day he used to do transcendental meditation. And I said, oh my God. I mean, I meditate. I'm not into transcendental meditation, but I sometimes will use mantras or, hand mudras or something like that, or, specific breath work and things. And she said, yeah. And, and he used to go for acupuncture for his elbow. I said, I totally forgot about that. Dr. Chu, and, it was like had this memory, and I know I went to the office with him. Not that I was in the office. I don't remember seeing him getting the needles put in, but so it's just so interesting because acupuncture is something that I've done on and off for years. And tapping is exactly acupuncture, except we're just using our fingertips to tap on the energy meridian points instead of using needles, right? So it's non-invasive. So it's just so interesting, like how connected I really am, or was, or whatever, to my father. And yeah, so.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. And the perseverance. And yeah, you're so right. Oftentimes we have those hardships, and it's the mental hardships that we create a big thing about and keep ourselves stuck. So I love it. What keeps you motivated?
It's really intrinsically in me is one thing, but because even on I don't have like terribly dark days now, but I used to. And even on those dark days when I was going through some healing and not having my business built yet, there was no question in my mind that I was on the right path. I never said, oh, I'm just going to go get a job, or I'm just going to give up, or I'm just going to, right? Other people did. Other people told me, oh, it's been long enough, Meryl. Don't you think you should go get a job? And I would just tune them out. I put my fingers on my ears and block out the naysayers because I just knew, it's just intrinsically in me what I'm doing. So I would say that helping as many people as possible to heal is paramount to whatever issues I might be having, whatever might still be blocking me, or whatever resistance I might still be working through, or whatever. So
awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Have a goal and go towards it, no matter what anyone says.
Yep.
What is something exciting going on in your life right now? What are you excited about? Maybe you read an awesome book or had an amazing experience.
Let's see, there's a few things. I just read the book called Calling in the One, because I am single and I'm always on the self-development, path. And that was a really great experience. It's a 7-week journey that the author takes you through, and there's a daily exercise. Like you read the chapter and there's a daily exercise that you go through. And I knew that I had some reservations about getting into a relationship with like the wrong person. And that was keeping me from meeting someone. So I'm definitely in a much better place and a higher vibe and more open. And I send love out to everybody. And, even some of my personal relationships where I was not hearing maybe from like old friends or something like that. And I've like rekindled, like without me reaching out. It's just by shifting my energy. Right. And then now I've like heard from some people, and I had plans with some people, and I've even had a date with somebody. We have a second date tomorrow night. We'll see.
Awesome.
We'll see what happens. So that's one thing that's exciting. I'm going on a retreat to Sedona in a few weeks. So I'm excited about that. It's called Prosperous Goddess Meets Soul Joy. So I'm excited about that. I booked another trip to Cabo at the end of the year with a friend of mine. I have a timeshare there. And I am also part of the, collaborative book project with my friend. And that's the ultimate guide to creating your soul aligned business. So I'm excited about my chapter, and that'll be coming out in a few months. So
awesome. Thank you. I think it's exciting. I love that, calling in the one. That's incredible. And how it all opened up for you. Amazing. If people would love to work with you, connect with you further, where would they go?
Everything is under my name, Meryl Hayton. My website, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube.
So you're omnipresent.
Yep. Everything is under my name, so I'm easy to find. I have a lot of free content out there, tapping content, and some are short and quick, like on TikTok. Some are longer, and more involved, and will help you to get, receive more healing. I have a great freebie on my website. If you go to my website, merylhayton.com, there will be a pop-up window where you can sign up to receive a 7-day Tapping into Worthiness mini masterclass. And it's just a 7-day journey of really short emails to read or videos to watch. You get a PDF of the tapping script, and it's really, really nice. So I have a 6-week program coming out, either private or group. And there's a lot of ways that people can work with me. I do offer a 1-hour free breakthrough clarity call if anyone is interested, to see if we're a fit to work together. And you definitely get insight and clarity on, what your issues are and how to go about healing them. And
Awesome. Is there anything that you want to say that I didn't ask you yet?
I would love to, maybe take us through a little tapping, short tapping
Let's do it.
round.
Sounds
right?
good. Let's
And
do
just
it.
talk a little bit about tapping.
Sure, let's do it.
What I love to do. So because this is for single parents, right? I figured they probably deal with a lot of guilt. So that's what we'll focus on for your audience.
Thank you.
And we'll do 2 rounds of tapping, and I'll just explain what we're doing, as we're tapping together, right? So you can tap on the side of your hand, and it's just very gentle, nothing crazy. And this is where you would typically create what's called a setup statement and acceptance phrase, right? So tapping is where we tap on the Chinese meridian points and say psychological phrases that pertain to our issue. But I'll say, if you are really overwhelmed and intense, in sadness or anger, and if you rate it on a scale of 0 to 10 and it's above a 7, I would just tap and breathe and quell your emotions first a little bit before you add words, because you could increase your intensity. And the whole idea of tapping is to manage everything and lower it, reduce it, remove it. And it can be done permanently, right? With long lasting, with consistent practice.
Right.
And using the right words and getting to the root cause of why you have your, where your issue started and all of that. So it completely dismantles your emotional attachment to whatever is going on in your life. right? So take a deep breath here if you're tapping along with us. In through your nose and out. And then we'll go to the top of the head point. So I'm towards the back of the head. Some people use both hands. I typically don't. One hand. Deep breath in and exhale out. Right. And you can always do this at your own pace. And then I'm just using 2 fingers right inside my eyebrows. And again, it can be both hands or one. Deep breath in and out. Right, and then outside the eyes, again, it can be right on the temples, both hands are one, and you can switch hands, it doesn't matter. Deep breath in and out. And then under the eyes is right on top of the cheekbone. And inhaling and exhaling, really blowing it out your mouth helps. And under the nose, this is just one hand spot. Same thing, just taking a deep breath. Right, and out. And on the chin. Same thing, deep breath in. Trying to keep them long and slow and smooth. And breathing out. And then under the collarbone. So I like to use both hands here because this is my favorite point, right? So you can find the collarbone and the middle point of it and then go down a couple of inches on an angle. Some people do this and get both sides. Some people actually just do the point that's right here where, comes like, here's the point of the bones. And they just kind of beat right there and you can just gently tap there. I like to do this. It's up to you. Taking a deep breath. And exhale out. And then under the arm, move this a little bit. So for women, it's right where your bra strap is. It's under the armpit where it meets your breastbone. And tapping there. If you want to do both hands, it can look like this or like a monkey, kind of like this, right? And taking a deep breath. Right, and just letting that settle in, relaxing, and just checking in with, oh, how do I feel now? Sometimes you don't even know how you feel until you have the contrast, right, of feeling better or feeling at ease. And then I'll invite you to tap on the side of your hand and you'll just repeat after me. We're doing very general words here because I don't know exactly what your issues are, but we'll talk about guilt, right? So even though I'm feeling guilty, and Irina, you can just repeat for us.
Even though I'm feeling guilty.
I'm just choosing to honor how I feel right now.
I'm just choosing to honor how I feel right now.
And even though I'm feeling guilty.
And even though I'm feeling guilty.
And you can fill in the blank about what it is, just like a short little phrase of what it is, that I'm not able to be there for my kids enough or whatever it is, right?
Yeah, that I'm not able to be mom and dad for my kids.
Yeah, I'm just choosing to acknowledge how I feel about this right now.
I'm just choosing to acknowledge how I feel about that right now.
And even though I'm feeling guilty.
And even though I'm feeling guilty.
And you can fill in about what?
About right. Not being able to feel 2 shoes at the same time.
I'm just choosing to find peace and clarity right now.
I'm just choosing to find peace and clarity right now.
Right. And it's really important to stay on one issue, one emotion, the most intense piece, and not like add in all this stuff that you might be feeling guilty about. Okay. And then top of the head, I'm feeling guilty.
I'm feeling guilty.
Yep. Inner eye, just feeling guilty.
Just feeling guilty.
So it's really helping you to accept what you're feeling. Outer eye, I'm feeling guilty.
I'm feeling guilty.
Right? Under the eyes, all this guilt.
All this guilt.
And under the nose, guilt.
Guilt.
On the chin, just feel guilty.
Just feel guilty.
Under the collarbone, I just feel guilty.
I just feel guilty.
And under the arm, guilt.
Guilt.
All right, and just pause. All right, just take a cleansing breath. And what I would invite you to notice is, rate your guilt before you do the tapping rounds on that scale of 0 to 10, right? If you're above a 7, do the tapping and breathing only, then come to adding in your words, and then notice, in a journal, just keep noticing where you're at and what feelings are coming up and what this might be tied to, where there is what's underneath the guilt. Where do you feel like that started? Who's making you feel guilty, right? Mm-hmm. And then if you feel the guilt physically in your body somewhere, like if you start to get anxious, you can tap that in, like, I'm feeling guilty, this anxious guilt in my chest, this anxious guilt in my belly, right? You can add that all in, and it really helps you to connect the mind and body together. And that's when you'll start to realize, oh, I'm feeling this feeling here. Oh yeah, because I'm feeling guilty about that thing, right?
Right.
So because the body will feel it first before you think it in your mind. So you want to create that awareness will be really helpful and healing to you. And awareness is confidence. Absolutely, awareness is confidence. So that's what I just sharing with you a little bit today.
Right. What about, and so after you do this guilty thing, you stop feeling guilty afterwards?
Yeah, once you find the root cause of what started you feeling guilty in the first place, yes, then it would be wiped away. And when you would feel guilty, over time, this all integrates into your system. And over time, you would feel more confident than guilty. So when the guilty feeling might come up, or if the same situation might trigger you, where, oh, I just can't be there for my kids in both of those, in that way, or that mom and dad or something like that, you'll just feel more confident and you won't feel the guilt. So you'll be more curious. Oh, there's the guilt. Okay, I feel it. I understand it. I accept it. And I can still move through it. It's not crippling me like it used to. It's not making me overthink like it used to, right? It's just kind of is. There's like a neutrality that comes along with it. Right. And that's what happens over time, but it does take consistent practice.
Right. We are not our emotions. We get to experience them, accept them, feel them, and live through them.
Yes.
Thank you. I think that was an awesome demonstration and a live example. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share with us? Any last parting words?
I mean, I'll just say, like, change is possible. You just have to be open to it. Totally. And your internal freedom is priceless. Invest in yourself somehow. Keep doing it. Keep at it. Don't give up.
Yes, I totally agree. Believe in yourself no matter what. Thank you so much for coming on, sharing your wisdom, giving us an amazing demonstration, and being a guest. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you.
You're welcome. My pleasure to be here.